RingCentral will completely transform the way you work. It gives you built-in AI across all your business conversations. Your phone system has an AI receptionist that answers calls 24/7. Your video meetings have AI that takes notes instantly. Even your contact center has AI, so you can help customers faster. It all comes together in one reliable platform for effortless AI communications. See for yourself at ringcentral.com. RingCentral, voice of your business.
Now tuned into the greatest.
So when that bag come, I won't fumble. I'm just stacking on the low, but hey, I'm tired of being humble. Let me get to it. That motivation music. Get control of your life, don't let nobody else do it. Cause I'm not gonna have match Ep.528 cruising. Feel like you winning on the ground.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. Now, I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like, or you just want to jump in on a conversation, hit us up on the voicemail line, 219-413-9405. And of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. And then shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off of your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. Now, this code can only be purchased by first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I don't know about you, but the playoffs is here, man. It's rolling strong. A lot of stuff going on in the NFL. Obviously, NBA is rolling strong as well. But, man, these wild card games have been crazy. I mean, we are witnessing an immaculate type of season, type of run from the NFL this year. This is by far one of the greatest NFL seasons we've seen in a very, very long time. There's no clear-cut winner on who will go ahead and win a Super Bowl. There's no clear-cut winner on who's going to win these ball games in a wild card. And now you look at the next round divisional, you really don't know who's going to win that either. So, man, this season all along through the NFL has been crazy. So, wow, just what a year. Really, just genuinely, what a year for the NFL this year. I've been stunned multiple times, including the game just the other day, this past weekend, with the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Now, this is one of these games where instant classic. Wow. So this was one just, man, classic. It's one of them games I'm glad I was committed to watching and everything. And I knew it was going to be a classic. I was correct about this, but before I brag and boast too much, I was 4 of 5 on my wild card predictions. I had the Bears winning. I had the 49ers winning, the Rams, the Patriots. The only team I was wrong on was the Buffalo Bills. And I don't know why I was going against the Buffalo Bills, but I did it. So I'm in enough to say I was wrong there. However, Bears-Packers, just to kind of break through each of these games just really quickly, man. You know, the Bears-Packers was a crazy game. Bears comeback win, ended up winning 31-27, and I was just stunned. Now, to go ahead pull this up, because I am going to boast a little bit toward the end, but I did say Bears would end up winning this game. I just knew it was going to come down to a last-minute play. I've said this multiple times where these matchups between Bears and Packers have been down to the wire, and the home team has just so happened to win the game. This is what I was trying to tell a lot of you guys from the jump. So this is exactly what ended up happening. And you know what? I was going to wait to pull up the clip, but why wait when, I can just go ahead and do it now? You know what? Why even make all the trouble of making you wait to hear exactly what I said when I can just play right now exactly what I said when it came to the Buffalo Bears beating the Buffalo Bears? I'm not well, as you see. The Chicago Bears beating the Green Bay Packers. So let's just go ahead here. Now you can see it. So this was the clip. And cue it up and let's do it. Packers and the Bears. This matchup between the Packers and the Bears might be the best division game out of all of them, just because of the way we've seen these games go throughout the course of the season, man. Both of these games earlier in the season have come down to a final play, and I'm sure this game in the wild card is going to come down to a final play, and I just so happen to think this final play is going to be in favor of the Chicago Bears winning it. I know, it's wild, it's crazy. Packers coming into this game off a 4-game losing streak. Home team has won the last 2 matchups. This game is in Soldier Field in Chicago. Caleb Williams, he was the 3rd least sacked quarterback in the NFL. And now the Packers are also missing Micah Parsons. It's a lot of things where it's adding up, and I'm just thinking the Bears have a slight advantage here because even without Micah Parsons attacking them, you're going against a top-tier offensive line in the Chicago Bears. This is a team that's ranked 6th in pressure allowed to the quarterback, and it's already going to be difficult for the Packers to generate pressure if they had Micah Parsons. Now that you don't have him, I just don't know if they'll have enough to really get to Caleb Williams. He doesn't get sacked a lot. Not only is he protected by a great offensive line, but he gets another elite wide receiver threat back to him this week. He gets Rome Odunze back, coming back from injury. Rome has been out since November, and they've still been winning games. They still were able to pull off that crazy victory in Soldier Field just a few weeks ago against the Green Bay Packers.
Well. I really don't want to be the guy to say I told you so, but you know what? I told you so. I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know how. And at one point, I ain't going to sit here and lie. I was nervous as hell. I thought, okay, yeah, Bears are about to find a way to blow this thing. The game was getting out of hand. It was out of control. But oddly enough, the Packers clearly wanted to lose this game. They clearly wanted to lose it. They gave the Bears multiple opportunities to crawl and fight back for another chance to win this game. They continued to give them opportunities over and over and over and over again until they actually blew the game and it was nothing left to fight for. So I thought that was interesting from there that the Packers ended up folding. But for the Bears, this is their 7th comeback win this season when trailing in the last 2 minutes of the ball game. So they've been doing this all year long. And you know, this is why I also said I knew it was going to come down to a final play. They've been doing this all year long and they've been balling, man. Like they ended a 14 season playoff drought with this win over the Packers in the postseason. Like this is crazy. And you know, the biggest takeaway here is not that the Chicago Bears have come back. This is the 7th time in a row, or this is the 7th win for the Chicago Bears when trailing in the last 2 minutes of the 4th quarter. This is not the biggest takeaway from this here. The biggest takeaway is that the Packers literally just blew a 21-3 lead in the second half. Oh my gosh. The Bears scored 25 points all in the 4th quarter alone. In the 4th quarter alone, 28 points in the entire second half. So the Packers blowing this 21-3 lead in a wild card is honestly the biggest collapse I've seen since the Falcons-Patriots 28-3. And arguably, it's even worse than the Falcons 28-3 against the Patriots because the Falcons at least lost to the greatest quarterback ever who ever touched the football. They lost to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. So at least they lost to someone who's very, very well respected, established. However, the Chicago Bears, 2nd-year quarterback in Caleb Williams. Not to say he isn't good. We clearly see the skill is there. We clearly see how dangerous of a quarterback he is. However, the Packers folded to a 2nd-year Caleb Williams when they were up 21-3 coming out of the half. And let me remind you, this Falcons-Patriots game, coming out of halftime, the score was 21-3. It didn't get 28-3 until midway through the 3rd quarter. And midway through the 3rd quarter is just so happened to be when the Bears started to climb back and the Packers began to fold. So it was wild, man. Both gave up. But this is a very similar collapse because both teams who blew this league, I say the Falcons and the Packers in this sense, comparing both, they both gave up 25 points in the second half. Crazy. The only difference is the Packers gave up 25 points in the 4th quarter alone. And that is unacceptable. That is crazy. And you know, it's funny to me because Matt LaFleur, he was formerly a Falcons coach. He was there when the Falcons blew the 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. So I just seen this happen in a wild card game. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, obviously Matt LaFleur, he's in a hot seat. People talking about him possibly getting fired. And even a lot of Falcons fans are saying we want him back in Atlanta. But I seen Matt LaFleur blow this 21-3 lead. And I'm like, hell no. You can take the man out of Atlanta, but you can't take Atlanta out of the man. And that just goes to show that Matt LaFleur, he might not be an Atlanta Falcon, but he's still deep down an Atlanta Falcon in his heart. So it is crazy to me that the Packers really blew this lead. I was astonished. This was by far the best game in the wild card that we witnessed, and arguably even the best game all year. Arguably even the best game all year, man.
I was absolutely stunned by this game here. But to move on, it wasn't the only game. We had the Eagles and the 49ers as well. This turned out to be a pretty decent game. I thought it was good, a little slow. It was very defensive. And the 49ers ended up winning this game 23-19, I believe it was. Let me go back and double check. I believe it was 23-19 where 23-19, the 49ers ended up winning this ball game. And it was a pretty good game, but, I hate to say it again, but I told you so. I told you. I tried to tell y'all that the Eagles are fraudulent. The Eagles are the same as the Atlanta Falcons with a winning record, the same as the Carolina Panthers with a winning record. A lot of these games that teams were losing that caused them to not make the playoffs, the Eagles just so happened to get lucky and win the ball game, whether it was a missed field goal, a fumble on the snap that could have been a game winner for the other team. It was so many simple, small things that just so happened to go the Eagles' way that marked another win in their 11-6 record and honestly, their chain was fake the whole time. Hence Bronny James. Like, the chain was fake, man. The Eagles were fraudulent. And we seen it on full display against the 49ers because this team could not move the ball downfield to save their lives. They were trying to make it a game and continue to keep it a game, but they were kicking field goals the whole time. They couldn't get the ball in the end zone and they couldn't get anything going. So, of course, I have to go ahead and play the clip and just say where I was right and boast a little bit about not buying what the Eagles are selling. I tried to tell a lot of people that the Eagles were frauds, but no, I was the crazy man. I was the one hating. I was the Atlanta Falcons fan who was mad that they didn't make the playoffs. I could care less. My team been at home for 8 weeks now. I could care less. I was just calling it how I seen it. And the way I've seen it all season, the Philadelphia Eagles have been frauds from week 4 all the way to the end of the season, because there was a lot of games where they shouldn't have won and they blew a lot of leads. That elite defense that y'all told me about didn't stand tall in a lot of those weeks between week 4 and the end of the season. So I knew it was all going to come together, and I've been saying it all year. You can't just cut on a switch and all of a sudden you start playing better and you knock all the rust that you've had throughout the course of the season off. It does not work like that. If you're rusty week 4 all the way through week 9, and you continue to be rusty week 9 through week 16, you're going to be rusty when you finally get in the playoffs. And I don't care what the record says. You see, they finally went against some competition, a team that was somewhat legitimate, a legitimate playoff team in the wild card, and they ended up losing. So I figured that was going to happen. And hey, man, I called it. But here's the clip. Here's the clips about the Eagles being fraudulent because I said so. Philadelphia Eagles are fraudulent, man. There's not enough makeup in the world to hide all the horrendous looks that the Philadelphia Eagles have shown us all year. I don't think they're worth the hype that everybody has been giving them. Offense has been shaky all year, and I don't care how good the defense is supposed to be or how good they are. I've seen this defense get exposed on multiple occasions. So I imagine the 49ers coming off of a bad week against the Seahawks will expose the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the game is in Philly, which will be tough. This makes it a lot more difficult for the 49ers to win, but that hasn't really mattered in terms of play and how the Eagles have looked over the course of the season. They've been at home and they've looked bad before, so we'll see what happens, but ultimately I got the 49ers winning this ball game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And what did we say? The San Francisco 49ers beating the Philadelphia Eagles. That's exactly what happened. The other game here, also, actually, before I go to the other game, I find it just mind-blowing, too, that Eagles found a way to lose this ball game with this magnificent defense and all of it. The defense did play fairly well. I know I've clowned them in the past, but the Eagles found a way to lose this game after getting 2 interceptions forced on Brock Purdy. This man, Brock Purdy, threw 2 interceptions, but yet the Eagles still couldn't capitalize on the extra possessions to get the ball downfield and put it in the end zone. So, A.J. Brown had a lot of drops offensively. Kevin Patulio's offense just looks bad in general. Can't really cook up anything. The only type of success I seen from the Eagles at one point was just little 10-yard out routes and 5-yard out routes with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, they didn't really try and get downfield. It was a couple passes I seen where they actually tried to hit the middle of the field or the sidelines. But the only thing that really seemed to work for the Philadelphia for Philadelphia Eagles offense was just the little 10-yard out routes, pass to the flats, keeping the ball on the ground to Saquon Barkley did help a lot, but ultimately nothing really cooked up. And, I think this year, the way it ended, obviously the Eagles got to fire Kevin Patullo. And I think A.J. Brown is also he's going to leave, man. I don't think A.J. Brown is going to be there much longer. Obviously, he didn't have a great game. Like I said, dropping multiple passes that were crucial looks. And it was just nasty drops from the Eagles, especially A.J. Brown in particular. And I don't think he'll stay with them. And we've seen a lot of frustrations on the sidelines. This Eagles offense hasn't really been able to cook up the whole year. And then, you go against a pretty solid 49ers defense and they just get shut down on the final possessions where they need to score the ball. But in total, man, A.J. Brown, it'll be dope to watch A.J. Brown with the Seahawks next year, or maybe he goes to Pittsburgh, or who knows where A.J. Brown will end up. But I think he'll truthfully end up with a contender. I can see him joining the playoff team. Maybe 49ers try and drop a bag and make something happen. But I can see A.J. Brown leaving, definitely playing for a contender like the Seahawks, maybe the Patriots, and maybe not the 49ers because they – it's become somewhat of a rival, but I could definitely see him going to a contender. So it'll be interesting this offseason to see where he goes, especially now since the Eagles season is over. So we'll see. However, there is a couple more games, and I'll fly through these. So the Bills-Jaguars was a pretty decent game as well. Bills ended up winning that ball game 27-24, and I just knew as soon as the Bills got the ball back, I knew it was rough. Man. When the Bills got the ball back and it was just under 4 minutes and they were down 24-20, Josh Allen has the ball, going to take it downfield. I knew at that point the Jaguars would probably end up losing that game. Just mainly because it's Josh Allen. And I mean, this is what he does. He got to put the ball in the end zone. He's going to find a way to do that. And eventually they did. I thought it was smart on the Jaguars to let the Buffalo Bills score so they could have some extra time on the clock. But it was just a tough break for the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence and the interception, literally the first play of a potential game-winning drive. That was just rough. I would have never guessed that game ending the way it did off an interception on the first play of a potential game-winning drive. So, but it was a solid game overall. Buffalo Bills ended up winning. Then, like I said, you had the Patriots and the Chargers. It wasn't really, I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't really a game that was hitting on anything. The Rams in Carolina was pretty good. Rams ended up winning that ball game 34-31. And then now tonight we have Houston versus Pittsburgh. So that'll be interesting between the Texans and the Steelers. And just to give a quick prediction on who I think I was rolling. Man, I gotta go back. I don't remember who exactly. I gotta go back and look at the clip. But I think I might have said Texans. I'm not trying to jump around and jump ship, but that'll be an interesting game tonight. Hopefully, it's way better than that Patriots and Chargers game. That was rough to watch. Anyway, look, man, that's all we got for you right now. We have some more stuff coming up because the Falcons got some head coach things happening. Some more candidates as head coach. Now, I'll kind of list out just who's all out there in the search, and then kind of wrap it back up to the Falcons and their potential head coach leads right now. Also GM and Matty Ice joining that team. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. It is halftime. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. I appreciate you tuning in. Give us a call on a voicemail line, 219-413-9405. If you hear anything you just want to go ahead and comment on or join the conversation. And, of course, we'll play your take back on the next episode. Now, just to give an update on the Falcons head coach options and everything that's been going on with their organization from head to toe since they fired the CEO, they fired the GM, they fired the head coach. They kind of clear house. So the coaches available and the teams that are still looking for head coaches right now. You have the Browns, Kevin Stefanski was fired. Raiders, Pete Carroll was fired. You have the Falcons, obviously, they cleared house. Then the Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, head coach, he was fired. And the other teams that are looking for head coaches right now, you have the New York Giants, the Tennessee Titans, the Baltimore Ravens, who recently fired John Harbaugh, and the Miami Dolphins, who recently fired Mike McDaniel. So obviously, this is coming down to crunch time, and I'm very proud of the Falcons for handling business right away. So they recently did a bunch of interviews about finding someone to fit their president of football operations. Now, this role was initially implemented for Matt Ryan specifically. A lot of rumors were going on before he actually got the job, but now it is official that Matt Ryan is the president of football operations for the Atlanta Falcons, former MVP. I mean, Atlanta Falcons legend, honestly. So just extremely happy for Matt Ryan coming back to save my dying franchise. And now the route proceeds to find a GM. So we secure Matt Ryan. He's president of football operations. We're told that this is going to be a role that has the clearance over GM, coaching. He's going to be taking care of everything related to on the field practice, whether that's bringing players, hiring players, cutting players. He's going to have a final say in all of these things from what we're being told. However, Falcons still need to get a GM. As of lately, there's been a couple GMs that's been interviewed, but Ian Cunningham is the only GM that really has a name that's sticking with the Atlanta Falcons front office right now. Now, obviously, Bears are still playing, so they can't announce that they're going to hire anybody at this moment for GM if it is him. However, he's been there for some time. He's been with the Chicago Bears. He's helped Ryan Poles put together that team. He's been the assistant GM for the Chicago Bears for some time. So I'm excited about Ian Cunningham, and honestly, I'm still more excited about Matt Ryan, but I'm sure he's going to make sure the organization is in good hands. So loving that. And then the latest on the head coach search, the Falcons, they interviewed John Harbaugh as head coach. And they also interviewed Mike McDaniel as head coach. Now, my favorite is Clint Kubiak, the Seahawks offensive coordinator as of right now. But there's some things to be said. So John Harbaugh, I see a lot of mixed reviews about John Harbaugh in the Atlanta Falcons. Some people are saying, no, he's too old. He's old school. We don't really need him. But I kind of look at it in the perspective of, yes, John Harbaugh has already coached a lot in this league, and the league is changing rapidly. But John Harbaugh is a winner. John Harbaugh is a legendary coach. We're not going to sit here and act like if the Falcons hire John Harbaugh, it's a bad hire, considering that this is a guy who knows how to win. He has plenty of experience. He can coach a team. He can bring in the right guys. We're not going to sit here and even act like that. And I think it's silly to even nitpick at a bunch of different statistics of John Harbaugh's coaching records and things like this, because just looking at it from a point blank black and white perspective, John Harbaugh is a good coach. He's a good coach, and we're not going to sit here and go down a rabbit hole of things of, oh, well, he only won one Super Bowl and he ain't been back. He ain't win a big game. I mean, if he can just get the Falcons to the playoffs as of now, I think that's all we have to worry about, is getting back in that conversation, getting back in that contention. Obviously, we'll want to get to Super Bowls again, but I think as of now, baby steps to getting there. I mean, we just need somebody who's solid. So I'm not saying he's my personal favorite, but I trust John Harbaugh if he were to become the coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I think he's a guy that definitely knows what he's doing when coaching a team. I mean, he's had multiple quarterbacks. He's won a Super Bowl, and he's thrived under multiple quarterbacks also, even though a lot of these guys were, legends in a sense. But I'm not mad at a John Harbaugh hire. The other guy, I think I like him a lot more than John Harbaugh, is Mike McDaniel. So Mike McDaniel, he's been with the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff before as an assistant. He was there in 2017, the year they went to the Super Bowl, obviously blew the 28-3 lead. But I trust Mike McDaniel as a head coach. And one of the reasons behind this is because I've seen this man's offensive schemes. Oh my gosh, there's not a doubt in my mind that if Mike McDaniel was to return to the Atlanta Falcons, become the head coach, and keep Jeff Albridge as the defensive coordinator, this team is winning 11 games. And that's how certain I want to be in whatever head coach that the Falcons hire. I want to be able to see that they can cook up an offense that's going to give me confidence that the Falcons will win 11 games the following season. Because I mean, the Dolphins, as bad as Tua was this previous year, it's no reason they should have even been in any conversations or any games that they've played in, because Tua was pretty bad, but yet they still made it work. So I trust Mike McDaniel, man. I know his coaching record is not very clear or very clean and crisp. However, this is a guy that knows his ball. He knows ball, man. So I'd gladly take Mike McDaniel in a heartbeat as head coach. Do I have him over Clint Kubiak? I don't really know, man. It's still a close call. I like Clint Kubiak and what he's doing. And I don't really think the Falcons can go in the wrong direction, especially if the finalists are between Mike McDaniel and Clint Kubiak. I'm good with it. Both have great offensive minds. I trust Mike McDaniel offensively a little bit more just because I've seen him cook up with that Miami Dolphins team. I mean, with pieces, no pieces at all. When Tua is playing bad, when he's playing good, I've seen him cook up a lot. And he also has that prior experience of coaching a left-handed quarterback. Penix is left-handed. Tua Tagovailoa is left-handed. So he could definitely create some things that may easily be able to be aligned with Michael Penix, if that makes any sense. So I don't think it's a bad option here. Between these three, I think John Harbaugh, Mike McDaniel, and Clint Kubiak, all great coaches. But if I still had to go from top to bottom of my dream head coach scenario or dream scenario for the Atlanta Falcons right now of who would be the head coach, I think I'm going either Mike McDaniel as head coach or Clint Kubiak as head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. I think John Harbaugh is a great coach and all, but I kind of want something on the newer end. I want something that's a little more fresh and that has a little more longevity. So I think Mike McDaniel and Clint Kubiak, both of those guys being great offensive minds, can definitely be able to cook something up in the long run for the Atlanta Falcons, especially if we keep Jeff Albridge, which I think the Falcons are really making a point to do since they declined the Cowboys interview for Jeff Albridge as the defensive coordinator. So I'm excited about this, man, but ultimately, I guess we're not going to find out until either Seahawks are eliminated or Bears are eliminated. All of these positions. But definitely some good candidates here, man. Definitely some good candidates. The one candidate, I will say, the only candidate I really want to stay away from is Kevin Stefanski. Oh my gosh. The only candidate I really want to stay away from is Kevin Stefanski. If the Falcons bring in Kevin Stefanski, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't know if I will have it in me to continue to cheer for this team if they bring in Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski had one winning season in the last 5 years. In the last 5 seasons, he had one winning season. And then in the last 2 seasons, the man has had a .23 win percentage. I don't want that as my head coach. And then I look at the aspect of this guy has had multiple quarterbacks on his team when the issue has been, the Browns don't have a quarterback. The guys he had as quarterback left and thrived. Baker Mayfield damn near had an MVP season early on. And last year, he's been thriving ever since. So clearly he wasn't a problem when he was under Stefanski. And then Joe Flacco, we were told the Browns don't have a quarterback. He left the Browns, went to the Bengals, and did Joe Burrow numbers, did MVP numbers. So I definitely do not want Kevin Stefanski there. I don't see a single reason why he could be a good head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. I know you say, but the Browns didn't have talent. Yes, they did. At one point in time, they had OBJ and Jarvis Landry, and also Nick Chubb. They had a squad at one point. So we're not going to sit here and act like, the Browns have been in shambles. They don't have any talent at all. No, we're not doing that. They had enough. They had enough talent. And if you got other quarterbacks who are going places and thriving just a year later, that tells me all I need to know if you're an offensive guru. Hell no. Keeps Kevin Stefanski away from my Atlanta Falcons. Please. Sorry, that's it. That's all I got, man. I ain't mean to go on one final rant, but that's all I got for y'all today. So I appreciate you for tuning in, man. Follow us on Instagram at The Run Podcast, Facebook at The Run Podcast, TikTok at The Run Podcast, YouTube, The Run with Manny Wilson. Twitter is also Podcast The Run. I've been trying to get on Twitter more. But send it to a cousin, brother, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, coworker, friend, family member, babysitter. I promise you they not gonna mind. And look, man, the positive note is just gonna be to continue to put one foot in front of the other. You never know when you're gonna finally get to that destination, so you got to continue to put that one foot in front of the other. Other than that, man, that's all I got. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back later on this week, and so on and so on and so on.
RingCentral will completely transform the way you work. It gives you built-in AI across all your business conversations. Your phone system has an AI receptionist that answers calls 24/7. Your video meetings have AI that takes notes instantly. Even your contact center has AI, so you can help customers faster. It all comes together in one reliable platform for effortless AI communications. See for yourself at ringcentral.com. RingCentral, voice of your business.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.